So come along with me, ladies and gentlemen.
It's early in the morning and team leader Shaquille has taken it upon himself to wake up the other organisers, in the spirit of leaving on time, and for a bit of fun.
Wake up, bro!
Everyone is tired, but the convoy needs to catch a sea ferry to Greece today.
1803 we sailed out to sea, out from the sweet town of Derry, for Australia bound. If we didn't all drown, the marks of our fetters we'd carry on a sunborn cruel as we daced out the grow. Dan O'Connor was down with the fever, 60 rebels today bound for Botany Bay. How many would reach the receiver?
Meanwhile, off the coast of Gaza, the daily battle between Palestinian fishermen and the Israeli Navy continues.
Baldy man's land is a hell for a man to end out his whole life in slavery. The climate is raw and the gun makes the law, neither wind nor rain care for bravery. Well, a rebel I came, and I'm still the same. On the cold wind of night you can fight me. Oh, I wish I was back home in Derry.
There's various bits of good news. The IHH charity, which is a major humanitarian organisation in Turkey, will be joining us in Istanbul with, they tell me, a minimum of 60 vehicles filled with medical aid. Also, those brothers and sisters are helping us, Viva Palestina, to buy additional medical aid in Turkey to put on the vehicles. Also in Istanbul, 4 Malaysian-sponsored vehicles will be joining us. Viva Palestina USA are fighting very, very hard against all the bureaucratic red tape to liberate our 47 brand new vehicles in the port of Iskandariya in Egypt. 2 vehicles are joining us in Jordan. So if we can get the American vehicles through, if we can do that, then we will, all being well, enter Egypt with the best part of 200 vehicles and 450 people and hundreds of
Back on dry land and one step closer to Gaza, the convoy has arrived in Greece, where the people are largely more aware of the Palestinian issue and sympathetic to the Viva Palestina mission. Although they do appear perplexed by some of the admittedly strange behaviour of the convoy members.
Swim! Swim! Shark! Shark!
So far, contact with the Greek public has been limited to fuel stops in villages by the side of the motorway, which may have somewhat skewed Imran's perception of the nation.
I think the average age around here is about 70. What do you reckon? 70 years old? 70. Yeah, because all I've seen is old wrinkly people, but fresh old wrinkly people. You know?
The convoy is headed for the city of Thessalonica, where the authorities have prepared some basic accommodation. But there's some seriously bad news for Team F.
Okay, F2 stopping.
One of the vehicles has been involved in a crash with a large truck. Although the 2 drivers are okay, their van is in bad shape. In addition to the obvious damage, the engine is leaking from the front, where the truck pushed it into another vehicle.
Everyone's fine.
Shook up in shock a bit.
Outbursts of irrational anger. So we're fine, but as you can see, the back of the vehicle's a bit mashed up.
The aid is quickly moved to other vehicles which press on with the route. But after the damage is examined by local mechanics, it's decided that the colourful van from Gloucester is beyond repair. It's an emotional moment for drivers Bob and Abby.
What a shame.
The convoy has finally made it to the city of Thessalonica on the Greek coast. Will they be able to hold together as one unit as they push into the city centre? The answer, a few minutes later, is a resounding no.
So we arrive in Thessalonica, and I don't know how it happened, but I think one van went wrong. And when one van goes wrong in a convoy, that means every single other van behind that goes wrong. But as you go wrong, someone starts to tell you on the CB that you've gone wrong. So someone shouts, go left, and then a van 2 miles behind you starts going left because you heard it on the CB.
Did you turn left after the second tunnel at the T-junction?
You follow the road to the left.
And then someone else, no, not you, you go right. And then someone else goes right. And within, less than 10 minutes, the convoy just like spread out amongst the city. And that was that. I don't know how long it took us to get back together.
However, once they do eventually make it into the city centre, the authorities allow the entire convoy to parade through the city's streets, this time with an official police escort to avoid a repeat of the earlier chaos.
I really felt we've left Western Europe, and it was because of the way the people were. You had policemen and people in their cars and officials and ordinary people all giving us a really friendly welcome. It was so different to how it had been through Western Europe. We felt like we were part of the people, and you suddenly discover that you are part of the majority of humanity if you care about Palestine and if you are opposed to imperialism.
Not only do the local authorities allow the drivers to park their vehicles outside the city's White Tower, one of Greece's national symbols, but they provide the convoy with food and accommodation.
There is historically a very big support of the Greek people for the Palestinian cause. So during the 70s and the 80s there has been a very big support, and there is a very strong anti-imperialist feeling and against the interventions of the United States and the UK. There were demonstrations of millions against the war in Iraq. And the sentiment is not just in the polls. If you ask people whether they support the Palestinian cause or not in Greece, you will have something like 90% in favour of the Palestinian cause.
Stories emerge of acts of kindness from Greek people who sympathise with Viva Palestina's ambitions.
This elderly lady came up to me and she said, where are you going? What is this Palestine thing? And I told her, I said, we're going to Gaza, and we set off from Britain, and we're going to be taking medical aid. Just on Boxing Day we'll be arriving in Gaza to take this aid there. And she became very emotional. She was a Greek lady, spoke very little English, and she said, I've been doing some shopping for my grandchildren, and she kind of, here's a Christmas card, and she said, would you do me a favour and from me take all that to Gaza, and rather than me give this to my children, would you please give this to any child in Gaza on my behalf? And, a tear came to my eye because of the generosity of the Greek people. And this to me is going to be a personal delivery. I will personally take this bag and give it to a child on Boxing Day when we get there, to a child in Gaza on behalf of one grandmother in Greece.
Later in the evening, the local mayor is accompanied by members of parliament who come to offer their support to the aid mission.
We are very lucky you are here today, because you are going to a country which for 60 years is in need of its nation, in need of its land, and we are very happy to host you here. But
the positive atmosphere soon takes a nosedive as news filters through that Egypt has begun construction of an impenetrable steel wall on the border with the Gaza Strip. The official justification is that it's to prevent the smuggling of weapons through the tunnels under Egypt's border. But in reality it means cutting off the one last remaining lifeline to the people of Gaza.
The tunnels themselves are, made by just average people, and they're just trying to make a living and trying to get food into their country. I've seen some of the tunnels. I've been in the area where they are, and I've seen the stuff that is being brought out of them. I've seen the diesel, and I've seen the food, and I've seen the things in the shops, which is obviously from the tunnels.
The wall is being built with the help of the US military and will extend 20 meters underground, with seawater being pumped alongside it to destroy deeper tunnels. When its construction is finished, the cage around the Gaza Strip will be complete, and the Palestinians inside will be at the total mercy of their Egyptian gatekeepers. In the next episode, Turkey and Syria throw their weight behind the convoy, while the Jordanian authorities opt for a more cautious approach. And the wheels come to a grinding halt as Egypt issues its impossible conditions for entry into Gaza.
Not the Egyptian people, because the Egyptian government is not allowing us because they're a puppet for the American and the Israeli regime.